So from the point of view of the principle of truth, we're basically saying that it's absolute and it's universal and it's mathematical and scientific. And it governs everything, whether the things are conscious of that governance or not. So an example of being conscious of the governance, well, humans to some degree can be conscious of the governance of the law, because we can learn about the law and learn about its effects and learn about its causes and so forth. But like an ant, it's got laws governing its life and its existence, but it's not conscious, not self-conscious, so not able to sort of work out anything. It just lives by it. So you could say some things in nature are instinctual consciousness. In other words, consciousness built into the law, built into the creature, whereas other things are, you could say, will-based consciousness, and that applies to the human to a large degree. The human is the only will-based creature, and so therefore will-based consciousness is also available to you. So there's a difference between instinctual consciousness and will-based consciousness. So an example of that for the human is you are instinctually conscious that there is a gravity, but you may not intellectually or emotionally know about it or even agree with it. But instinctually, it's there governing your life still. And instinctually, you're putting one foot in front of the other when you walk, and instinctually, you don't fly off into outer space from doing that. So you're governed by the law, but most people don't even think about that. But when you start thinking about it, now you can learn more about the law. So once you start pondering and thinking and searching for the truth of it, you can now learn more about it and potentially learn things about it that help you learn about other laws that can exceed or have hierarchy over that law. You can learn about the hierarchy of laws governing a certain thing. So there is a hierarchy, you could say, of truth, or a hierarchy of laws. And knowledge about the hierarchy is very, very good for a human, because you might be governed by one law, such as gravity, and not know about another law, such as aerodynamics. Right? And then you can, and this was the case for, in the dark ages of the last couple of thousand years, nobody really knew how to fly, right? But once they started to learn about the law that governed flight, because they could see birds doing it, and they could see other creatures flying, and then they thought, it would be great if we could fly. You think about all the advantages we have now. Mary and I are contemplating a trip that's going to be 20,000 kilometres or more in the next couple of months. Imagine trying to do that walking. Or going over the sea and walking and going over the sea and walking. It'd take us, potentially months or even years to do that particular trip. But knowing the hierarchy, that there is this aerodynamics that we can apply the principle of that is greater than the law of gravity under certain conditions. Once we know that is available to us, then obviously we can learn that law to our advantage. Right? So it's very important to understand that the absolute truth, then we can live by it instinctually, and there are certain things that will just function without us really thinking about it if we do so. Or we can examine things more deeply and search for more truths, and that will be to our happiness and advantage. So that's the fundamental principle of absolute truth.